In a peaceful little village, there lived a man named Samuel, who had spent years weighed down by worry and overthinking. From the time he was young, Samuel always dwelled on the smallest details of his past mistakes, from friendships that didn't work out to failed attempts at achieving his goals. He felt as though every misstep and every harsh word said to him left a scar on his heart, and every thought of it gnawed away at his peace of mind. The overthinking habit began affecting Samuel's health and relationships. His friends noticed his distance, and his family grew concerned as he isolated himself. Despite their encouragement, he couldn't shake his fixation on the what-ifs and should-haves of life. His mind was like a room filled with locked boxes, each holding a memory he couldn't release. The toll it took on him became evident: sleepless nights, drained days, and an overwhelming sense of loneliness and exhaustion. One evening, Samuel decided he could no longer live with this invisible weight. He wandered the quiet streets, searching for answers, desperately hoping for a sign, a solution. His path led him to an old wise woman, known for her deep understanding of life and her profound ability to help those who were lost. She had seen many people come to her with heavy hearts, and she recognized the troubled look in Samuel's eyes as he approached. Samuel opened up to the wise woman, confessing his struggles with overthinking. He explained how the past haunted him, how even the smallest criticism lingered in his mind, growing heavier each day. He told her about the dreams he had abandoned and the peace he longed to find. The wise woman listened carefully, her kind eyes showing understanding. Without a word, she invited him to follow her to a small clearing. She handed him a backpack filled with large, heavy stones and asked him to carry it. Confused but curious, Samuel lifted the backpack, only for her to add more stones, one after another, each heavier than the last. Imagine each stone as a thought from your past, she explained, a memory that you keep holding on to. They might seem light at first, but the longer you carry them, the heavier they become. Samuel began to feel the weight pulling him down. His shoulders ached, his back strained, and each step became more challenging. He couldn't take it much longer, and finally asked if he could put the backpack down. The wise woman nodded, and as soon as he set it down, he felt an overwhelming sense of relief. She then shared her wisdom. The mind, like that backpack, can only hold so much. If you don't let go of the weight, it will hold you back from ever truly moving forward. Samuel sat down and let her words sink in. He understood that each stone represented a memory he had refused to let go of, and each memory was weighing him down, pulling him away from the present. He realized that, just like the stones, these thoughts had no place in his life anymore. With this newfound clarity, Samuel asked the wise woman how he could start letting go of his burdens. She taught him the art of mindfulness, how to recognize a thought without clinging to it, and to allow his mind to return to the present moment. She guided him through breathing exercises, showing him how to focus on his breath and let go of the thoughts that disturbed him. Over time, he would learn to acknowledge his memories without letting them consume him. Samuel went home and began practicing what he had learned every day. He started small, focusing on his breath and the sounds around him whenever a painful memory surfaced. At first, it was difficult. His mind wandered, dragging him back into the past. But with each session, he felt a little lighter. Slowly, he found himself able to control his thoughts, no longer lost in the past. Over the next few weeks, Samuel noticed a remarkable change in himself. He became more present with his friends and family, enjoying moments without the shadow of overthinking. He found joy in simple pleasures, like feeling the sun on his face and the laughter of children playing nearby. His sleep improved, and with it, his health. Samuel's heart felt lighter, as though each breath allowed him to let go of a burden he had carried for years. One day, Samuel encountered an old friend who hadn't seen him in months. They shared a conversation, and his friend was struck by how calm and joyful Samuel had become. The friend asked, "What changed? You seem happier, more at peace." Samuel smiled, remembering the wise woman's words. He shared the story of the backpack filled with stones and the lessons he had learned. "It's about learning to let go of what you can't change," he explained. "Holding on to those thoughts only makes them heavier. Now, whenever I feel burdened, I remember to set the weight down." As word of Samuel's transformation spread, others in the village began seeking out the wise woman's guidance. People who had spent years worrying about their own pasts found peace in her teachings. Samuel even began sharing his experiences with those struggling with overthinking, encouraging them to practice mindfulness and to release the weight they held onto. Samuel's life continued, but he was no longer the same man. He faced challenges, of course, but he had learned the art of letting go, of accepting that the past did not have to define his future. With every mindful breath, he released another stone, another burden, until he felt as light as air. From then on, Samuel lived fully in each moment. He embraced his journey, unburdened by the past, and found a lasting peace that he carried with him for the rest of his life. His story became a lesson to all who knew him. The key to happiness isn't in changing the past, but in freeing ourselves from it and learning to embrace the present.